Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. We've got a brand new story to share with you, so let's begin. My name is Trevor, and if there's one lesson that cut its way into my life, it's this. Never assume that what feels safe at home is actually secure. People like to say love is built on trust, and that when the right person shows up, handing over the whole heart is the noble thing to do. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. When trust is blind, it isn't loyalty. It's gullibility dressed up as virtue. That's how it happened to me. I believed in the kind of love where both people go all in, never turn on each other, and don't even entertain the idea of betrayal because the relationship matters too much to both. Never once did it cross my mind that I'd be the one telling a story about how my own wife made me question everything I thought I knew about love, commitment, and marriage. Looking back, it's frightening how easy it is to be deceived when you're in love. The signs either don't register or they do, and you dismiss them because the alternative hurts too much to acknowledge. You think that because you're faithful and invested, your partner must be too. That's not how reality works. After everything that happened, there are days I feel like love is just an empty word people toss around without meaning it. Stick around, and you'll understand why I say that. I met my wife, Brianna, when I was 30. She was 25 and bright with loud joy. By then, I was ready house, family, steady life, the whole picture. With her, everything locked into place quickly. We could talk for hours about nothing and everything. From the outside, we looked exactly like the couple that got it right. We dated a little more than a year before I proposed. Maybe some would say that wasn't long enough, but I felt like I'd found my person. No obvious red flags, no shadows to make me second guess. We shared interests, enjoyed each other's company, and moved through days like we fit. After the wedding, things were good. We moved into a nice place my mother owned and settled into a routine that felt earned, like the beginning of a story that would last. For a while, I had everything I wanted. We did almost everything together, and the comfort felt honest. But here's something you only learn the hard way. The deepest cuts come from the people you trust the most. One day, Brianna mentioned her phone was acting up, freezing, draining battery too fast, and refusing to open certain apps. She was frustrated. I told her I'd handle it and took it to a repair shop, assuming it would be a quick fix. The technician took a look and said the repair would cost almost half the price of a new device. That math didn't make sense. If I was already halfway there, I might as well go all the way. I figured a surprise would make her day. So instead of repairing it, I bought her a brand new phone. I had no idea that this small decision would knock the lid off everything. Before giving the go-ahead to transfer her data, I went through the old phone one last time, just to make sure her essentials were backed up properly. Photos, contacts, messages, all the basic stuff. As I scrolled, a disguised folder snagged my attention. It was hidden, not sitting with the usual items. My gut told me to open it. I did. And immediately, my entire body went stiff. There was a dating app inside that hidden folder. My mind stumbled trying to make sense of why my wife would even have it. I opened it. The more I scrolled, the more obvious it became. The messages told me everything I needed to know. She had been talking to other men, not just recently, but stretching back to when we were dating. Some threads were playful. Some were openly flirty. Others were explicit enough to make me have to stop and breathe. Different names, different timelines, the same pattern. She laughed at their jokes, encouraged their advances, and replied in ways that made it crystal clear this wasn't friendly banter. She had been doing this right under my nose. I started taking screenshots. Names, timestamps, the worst lines, the parts no one could call innocent. If she tried to lie later, the messages would speak plainly. Once I had everything, I locked the phone and handed it back to the tech. "Go ahead with the transfer," I said, steady on the outside and hollow on the inside. As the files moved, I stood there zoned out, replaying our entire history with a new filter. Maybe she had always been like this. However I framed it, one truth held. I couldn't ignore this. I needed to confront her. By the time I got home, the plan was set. I walked in, pulled out the new phone, and handed it to her with a small smile, watching her closely. Her eyes lit up, and she hugged me, kissing my cheek. Oh my God. Babe, you got me a new phone. You didn't have to. She was genuinely happy, unaware of what was coming next. I let her enjoy the moment for a few seconds, then cleared my throat. Figured it was better than fixing the old one. By the way, I looked through your phone before the transfer started. My voice was calm, direct. I saw the dating app. Her smile disappeared. Excuse me, she said, eyes narrowing. I met her gaze. I saw it, Brianna. I saw the messages. You've been talking to other guys. She stared at me, calculating. Then she scoffed. You went through my phone? Seriously? That's an invasion of privacy. Do you not trust me? I expected that move deflection, redirect, make it about me. I didn't flinch. That's not the point, I said. I want to know why you have a dating profile and why you're talking to other men. Her face changed again, realizing I wasn't going to blink. I wasn't trying to do anything serious, she said, mumbling. I was just, I don't know, bored. Then, I never planned to actually meet anyone. Do you understand how messed up that is? I asked, low and steady. Giving attention outside of marriage is how things fall apart. That's not going to be us. She looked away, like the weight of it was too much to hold. I took a breath and set the line. You need to end this. Delete the app. Cut off every guy you've been talking to. I need to know it won't happen again. She nodded slowly. Okay, I'll delete it. She pulled out her phone and right there, uninstalled the app. I watched it disappear, but my gut told me the storm wasn't over. For the next 8 months, life went on like nothing had happened. After she swore she deleted the app and cut contact with those men, I tried to believe her. Whenever those messages crept back into my mind, I told myself to let them go. Trust is required in a marriage, and if I kept digging, I'd risk destroying us by my own hand. Sometimes her phone buzzed and my stomach tightened, but I forced myself not to ask who it was. I didn't want to become the paranoid, insecure husband who polices his wife's notifications. I had no idea that while I worked to convince myself we were fine, she was still running a second life right under the same roof. One morning, I woke feeling like my own body was punishing me for something I hadn't done. It burned and stung when I peed. I paused, trying to make sense of it. The idea that I could have chlamydia or gonorrhea didn't make any sense to me. How could that be happening? As the day went on, the pain didn't fade. It got worse. What started as irritation turned into agony. Every trip to the bathroom felt like punishment. By evening, something new and worse appeared, a thick, yellowish discharge. That's when everything snapped into focus. My body was saying something was terribly wrong. The next morning, I went straight to the hospital. I wanted any explanation that wasn't the one I feared, maybe a UTI, something that could be treated without implying betrayal. After the exam and labs, the doctor sat me down and said I had an STD. I stared at him, waiting for another possibility. He added, "These infections are only transmitted through sexual contact." That was it. There was no other interpretation. My wife had slept with someone else. I left in a daze. That night, I lay beside Brianna staring at the ceiling while my mind raced in 100 directions. The next morning, I got up before her, already braced for the conversation. I poured coffee and sat quietly while she walked in, kissed my cheek, and reached for a mug. Every part of me wanted to shove her away. I didn't. I waited for her to sit, take a sip, and then I met her eyes. "Brianna, have you been with anyone else?" Her whole face shifted offended glare, like I'd accused her of something monstrous. She put the cup down. "Excuse me? What kind of question is that?" "A simple one," I answered. "Have you been with another man?" I watched the anger build. "I can't believe this. Are you seriously accusing me of cheating?" After everything we've been through? I didn't blink. Did you cut off the guys from that dating app like you promised? That's when she blew. Oh my God, you're really bringing that up again. I told you I deleted everything. Do you know how exhausting it is to be with someone who doesn't trust you? This is ridiculous, Trevor. I didn't move. Then hand me your phone. She recoiled, pulling it back. No, that's an invasion of privacy. I nodded slowly. All right then. Let's go to the hospital and get tested together. She leaned back, crossed her arms. I don't have to prove anything to you. That was all the proof I needed. I exhaled through my nose, loosened my shoulders like I was dropping it. The second she turned her head, I lunged, grabbed the phone, and pressed it to her face to unlock. She shrieked, jumped up, and clawed for it, but it was too late. The screen lit. I started scrolling. And there it was, exactly what I feared. Messages, images, receipts, threads with multiple men, some new, some going back months, explicit texts, arrangements to meet, miss you messages. She never stopped, not even after I begged her to end it. She had lied to my face and kept lying. I turned, looked straight at her, and asked calmly, "How could you be this unfaithful?" She didn't apologize or even try to spin it. She scoffed and gave me the middle finger, right in my face. Something in me snapped. "Pack your stuff. This marriage is over," I said evenly. "Be gone before I get back." She smirked, like I was bluffing. I didn't argue. I grabbed my keys, walked out, and kept moving. A few blocks away, I pulled over, picked up my phone, and called my attorney. "Find me the best divorce lawyer in town. I want this done immediately." By the time I got to my parents' house, I knew I wasn't going back that day. They let me in, confused at the hour, and I just said I needed time. I couldn't explain yet. 2 days later, I returned to the apartment. It was empty. She was gone. I didn't have to wonder where word traveled quickly enough. She had moved straight into another man's house, one of the very ones she'd been seeing long before I knew anything. That realization burned in a way I can't put into clean sentences. Divorce was hell. People talk about it like paperwork, like you sign and walk away. But the real thing is brutal. It isn't just legal separation. It's the slow, careful untangling of two lives, the daily realization that the person you loved, sacrificed for, and planned to grow old with wasn't truly yours. I won't sugarcoat it. It hurt in a way I wouldn't wish on anyone. Maybe it hurt more because I had genuinely loved her and given everything while she fed me lies. I learned. The hardest way possible, but I learned. And if another man can learn from me without bleeding the same way, then maybe this has some use. First, don't love blindly. Love requires trust, yes, but trust isn't a gift. It's a wage. I trusted Brianna because I wanted to believe in her, not because she earned it. That was on me. Second, if someone disrespects you once, they'll do it again. I caught her talking to other men, and instead of leaving, I let her convince me it was harmless. That was my exit sign. I ignored it. Third, trust actions, not words. People will sing whatever song you want to hear. Their behavior will always reveal the truth. She said she deleted the app. She said she ended things. She kept sleeping with other men. Lastly, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't hold out for 10 more flags. I'm not sharing this for sympathy. I'm sharing it because somewhere there's a guy ignoring his own gut, writing off the same signs, and rehearsing excuses for someone who keeps stomping all over him. Don't. Protect your heart. Guard your future. And if someone needs to hear it, send them this story. It might save them from the pain I carried.